Hey everyone, welcome back to Cruising with Matthew, and today I'm going to be doing a ship tour of P&O Cruises' newest ship, Iona, which I took during her maiden cruise between the 7th and 14th of August 2021. In this video, I'm going to be talking all about her interior and exterior spaces so you can have an idea as to what you can expect when you're on board. So I really hope you enjoy this video. Now, Iona was floated out on the 14th of February 2020 and finally christened after the global pause of cruising due to COVID on May the 16th, 2021. Her maiden cruise started on the 7th of August and I was lucky enough to be on board at this time. Putting it simply, Iona is massive and has a maximum capacity of 5,200 passengers and 1,800 crew. She weighs in at a whopping 180,000 gross tons. Iona is also one of two XL class ships which are going to be delivered to P&O, and the second Avia is scheduled to have her maiden cruise in December 2022. Iona is the first ship for P&O cruises to be powered by liquefied natural gas, which means that there are no sulphur and nitrogen emissions and also a 20% reduction in carbon emissions. There are over 30 different places that you can eat and drink on board and a ton of other places to explore, so let's take a look deck by deck. If we start at the bottom of the ship, decks 4 and 5 are mostly cabins, although on deck 5 you have the Oasis gym, as well as a thermal suite with the main Oasis spa being situated on deck 6. The gym was really well equipped and I used it a fair few times during my cruise. Different to other ships in the fact that it's not at the very top of the ship, but I kind of preferred this. And there were some beautiful big windows near the treadmill, so lots of natural light came in and you had good views of the ocean, which is the best way to work out in my opinion. Moving up to deck 6, at the very back of the ship, we encounter the Pearl Restaurant. This is one of 4 main dining rooms situated on board Iona, with the Pearl Restaurant on deck 6 and is connected to the Coral Restaurant on the deck above via a beautiful staircase. And I absolutely love these two restaurants on board Iona, because the back has large windows, meaning that lots of light floods into the dining room and you get some beautiful views of the ship's wake while she's underway. And it was really special because if we had dinner later on in the evening, we also got to enjoy a beautiful sunset with all the fabulous food. Also at the stern of deck 6 are the smaller Aqua and Opal main dining rooms as well. And on P&O ships you can have breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea and dinner in these restaurants, and they are all included within your fare. All of these main dining rooms are freedom dining, meaning you can book a table at whatever time and sit on whatever size table. This is a departure from the other ships where you also have club dining when you have 2 sittings, so that's something to consider. P&O have also released a My Holiday Cruises app, which is more a web page rather than an app, and I have to admit it needs a bit of tweaking still. And occasionally, particularly on formal night, the app went down, which meant that we weren't able to book on the app. However, if you just went to the restaurant, you were able to get a pager similar to what we had pre-COVID, and the situation was sorted quite quickly. So a few teething problems, but I think this will work well when it's all sorted out. The food here was really nice and the staff were really helpful as well, so you definitely won't go hungry in any of these restaurants. Moving further forward, you encounter the Ocean Studios, and this is a 4 cinema screen cinema complex which shows new movies each day. I really love the retro feel and looks like it'll be lots of fun. The movies were all really recent releases as well, so if you didn't get a chance to see something in the cinema, you can do it on board, which is quite cool. Adjacent is Anderson's. Now, this is a nod to Arthur Anderson, who co-founded the Peninsula and Oriental Steam Navigation Company, for which P&O is named. Hidden away here is a fairly small library, but it had a decent selection of books, although its main function is to serve as a fabulous bar, and it is a really spacious bar, comfortable seats, and the staff were really lovely here as well. If you get a good seat, you can also see the distiller on board, which makes Iona's Maribel gin, which has been created for P&O by Solcombe Distilling Company, which is quite a quirky feature to have. And the gins on board are really nice. I had a gin afternoon tea here and it was absolutely fabulous, so if you're a fan of gin, this is the place to go. As you move midships on deck 6, you encounter for the first time the stunning Grand Atrium, and it really is the focal point of Iona in my opinion. It spans 3 decks and features a beautiful spiralling staircase with lots of marble, and there's a host of venues in this area. As stunning as the decor may be, the best feature of this atrium has to be these 3-deck high glass windows which lets natural light flood into the atrium, so you get fabulous views during the day or night. And when we sailed into Iona on Iona or throughout the Scottish Highlands, you could really see why this design was considered, because it's very surreal having a coffee and seeing the rugged coastline of the Scottish Highlands pass you by. It has been really well designed and is probably the best designed atrium that I've ever seen in my opinion. So on deck 6 within the atrium there is the Vistas Coffee Lounge, and this was very popular because you got beautiful views and also really good coffee. And you could also pay extra and get some cakes by Eric Lanyard. It was a perfect place for me just to sit, have a coffee and watch the world go by next to those stunning windows. There's also the Emerald Bar, and this is a really fancy cocktail bar which serves some brilliant drinks and cocktails coupled with those views that I mentioned. It's the perfect spot to be able to spend an evening people watching and drinking your favourite drink. Another new feature for Iona on deck 6 is the 710 Club. Now this has been directed by Gary Barlow, which acts as an intimate music venue for new and upcoming musicians. It is included in your fare, but get there early. I tried most nights and I never managed to get in, because with social distancing as well, the venue capacity is quite limited. Moving forward, we encounter the Limelight Club. Now this is an extra charge dining / entertainment option on board. This features a 3-course meal and then also a performance, and currently on board is La Voix, and I've heard so many good things about their performance. It's hugely popular and it sold out on the first day, so make sure you book on embarkation day. However, on some nights they also opened the Limelight after La Voix's performance, and you got to see the Limelight, which is the resident band, perform, and that was really nice, and also a good opportunity to experience a venue that you might not get a chance to visit normally. Opposite this is also the Oasis Spa, which is perfect for those who want a bit of pampering. There's a huge range of treatments on offer as well as hair salons and barbering, so this is definitely the place to go if you're a fan at the spa. Running through this space as well is also the art gallery, and makes the walk through this space really interesting as well. At the very front of deck 6 is the Headliners Theatre. It's a good size spanning 2 decks, and as per usual, the standard of entertainment on P&O was fabulous. We had the Headliners New Show Festival. Now this was a very different style of show to others that I've seen on other P&O ships, but was absolutely fantastic. With it being the maiden cruise, we also had special visits from Joe Pasquale, which was hilarious, as well as Tony Hadley, who was absolutely incredible. The power of his voice was second to none. So we really enjoyed our time in the Headliners Theatre. So if we go up to deck 7 and move back past the Headliners Theatre, we encounter the casino. So if you want to try your luck on one of the various games on offer, this is the place to go. Directly opposite is the British style pub Brodie's, which offers a range of beers and ales as well as wines and everything else you could possibly want drink wise. And this is the site of a variety of game shows, quizzes, as well as live sport. And if you're feeling brave in the evening, there's also things like karaoke here as well. As you move midship and within the atrium, there is the Glass House. Now the Glass House was popular all times of the day and is designed with Ollie Smith to offer a range of light bites, including things like sliders paired with some fabulous wine. And I greatly enjoyed the variety of wines on offer, and it was brilliant even during the day just to sit here, read a bit, plus a glass of rosé, because after all, you're on holiday. Moving past the atrium, we also encountered the shopping plaza known as the Avenue, and this offers a huge range of shopping options, clothes, souvenirs, cosmetics and bags to suit everyone's taste. And this includes some really popular brands, including Pandora, Jo Malone, Superdry, Barber, to name a few. There's also a dedicated Mulberry store as well, so if you're wanting to use up some of that onboard credit, this is definitely the spot for you. Now moving aft, there is the previously mentioned Sindhu Restaurant, which is one of Iona's main dining rooms, so we will move up to deck 8. At the very back of deck 8 is the Clubhouse, and I absolutely love the decor here. It felt very art deco and was a really well utilised space during our cruise. By day it acted as an area for a number of talks as well as a vocalist workshop. We also got to enjoy a performance by the sea shanty group Sea here and was really light-hearted and fun. In the evenings, performances by Pulse, the resident band, as well as a late night show by the comedian Manuel Martinez, which was absolutely hilarious. I really like how they've also included these large TV screens in areas of the venue where the view is obstructed, so it means that you don't miss out on the performance. Now moving forward on Deck 8, there is the Keys, which is a new inclusive dining concept on Iona. This includes the Boardwalk Diner, which offers a variety of burgers and hot dogs. Then there's Hook, Line and Vinegar, which offers fish and chips and was very popular during this cruise. And my favourite of the three, Asian Fusion, and this offered a variety of Asian style foods, and I really enjoyed it, with the food being really flavoursome and not something that I would always have. Breakfast is also served here as well, serving cooked breakfast as well as cold continental style. Now opposite the Keys is the Olive Grove, which is a new dining option for Iona. Although it is marked as an extra charge venue, this is only for certain meals and you can have a fabulous meal without incurring an extra cost. The food and decor are inspired by the Mediterranean and I absolutely love this spot. I was so impressed with the food here and the staff are really helpful as well. My favourites had to have been the sharing platter which we had, which was perfect to try a little bit of everything if you weren't sure what you'd like, and I would urge you all to save some space for the torta gianduia, which is a absolutely fabulous hazelnut cake, so I would thoroughly recommend. It did tend to get booked up quite early, so make sure you make a beeline for this on embarkation day as well. Moving further forward, we also encounter the Sindhu Restaurant, and this is a popular venue for P&O cruises. It has a very different look compared to the other ships, and I think it looked absolutely fabulous. Although we didn't get the chance, there's also a nice bar nearby which you can relax in even if you're not going to Sindhu itself, and is a really good spot if you're waiting for a spot at the Olive Grove or you're just wanting to relax. As you move further midships towards the Atrium, you encounter Ripples, which is a extra charge gelataria which P&O have made in collaboration with Snowflake Luxury Gelato, and this is the place for any variety of ice cream that you would like, and even has its own ice cream afternoon tea, so definitely somewhere to visit. Moving into the Atrium on Deck 8, we encounter the Keel Cow Gastropub and Bar. Now the Keel Cow is a new feature for P&O cruises and features things like dry-aged steaks as well as the Prime Minister burger. Now P&O kindly gave me £100 onboard credit and I used a portion of this to enjoy this venue, and I have to admit I was completely blown away by this. We all had steak. The steak was cooked absolutely perfectly and the starter was really impressive and quite different as well, and the staff here are absolutely top notch and just added to that amazing experience. And it was absolutely stunning to enjoy this fabulous steak while getting these gorgeous sea views, and it really was a highlight of my cruise this visit. All the meals are individually priced, so you can choose accordingly. The very forward of Deck 8 are entirely cabins, but another feature of Iona is a wraparound promenade, and it is so nice to have a full wraparound promenade, especially on a new ship. The promenade has definitely been reimagined here as well. A large amount of outdoor seating for areas such as the quays, and the promenade is wide enough to also have lots of sun lounges running down its length. There's also these fabulous infinity whirlpools dotted along the promenade deck, and is something that I've never done before, but I absolutely loved relaxing in these spaces. It meant so much being able to walk around the promenade deck, as I did this so many times each day as I took in the views of the Scottish Highlands. I especially loved how when you went to the front of the ship, you were pretty much at the bow of the ship, and if you turned round, you could look straight up at the bridge, and that's something I've never done before and I found it seriously cool. I also love how the deck essentially juts out when you get to the midships area, and it gives you a really unique perspective and is a photographer's dream. Do note however that any of the cabins on Deck 8, including the mini suite conservatories and balconies, will back right onto the promenade deck, so although there is a half-height privacy glass, there's going to be the noise of people walking past, so it's just something to consider. If you're someone who likes chatting to loads of different people, these are going to be the places for you, but it might come as a shock to some people, so something to consider. As you go to the aft section of the promenade deck on Deck 8, there's also the Sunset Bar, which features two gigantic whirlpools as well as a bar with a large canopy over it and offers great views when the ship is underway. Half of the bar is reserved for smokers, but when the ship's underway it's not too noticeable at all, and I spent many hours sitting in some comfy seats reading and watching Iona's wake as she sailed through the Scottish Highlands. Definitely something I would recommend. Now decks 9 to 15 are all cabins. Note however there is no deck 13 due to superstition. We had a balcony cabin on deck 12 which was absolutely incredible, although I will do a full cabin tour later on. So after climbing all those stairs, we get to deck 16. The forward section of deck 16 is entirely made up of cabins, and moving to the midship section we encounter the brilliant Skydome. This is probably one of Iona's noticeable features from the outside as well as inside. By day it acts as a all-weather pool deck with tons of seating, and although the dome isn't retractable, it's really well air conditioned, so it didn't feel stuffy even during hot days, which is something I was worried about. And on this deck there's also Taste 360, which gives you the chance to enjoy a quick bite to eat, such as things like burgers, hot dogs and pizzas. At night, however, the Skydome really comes into its own. As a stage can slide over portions of the pool, you get to see some fantastic shows, probably the best I've ever seen. P&O have collaborated with Creativa, and this offers some aerial shows such as Tribu, whose premise is based on two battling tribes, as well as Rise, which is an avian themed show, and there's also Ignite, which features a large DJ set by Alex James, accompanied with a stunning laser show, as well as the extremely talented She vocalists, and every time we saw one of these shows we were completely blown away by it. We also saw tribute vocalists as well as the resident band Pulse perform here as well. Although I feel like the acoustics of the Skydome didn't lend itself to a performance just featuring vocals, as it did seem quite echoey at times, although we still really enjoyed it. Moving further to the aft of the ship, there is the Horizon Buffet. Now, a section of this will convert into the Beach House, which is another dining option on board, with the rest of the buffet offering breakfast, lunch, afternoon tea and dinner in a more casual setting. The food here was always really nice, and there's also a little bit at the back of the ship where you're able to sit out, and for me it doesn't get much better than that. At the very aft of Deck 16, there is the first of two infinity pools on board, as well as a large array of sunbeds, which were very popular during the sunny days of our cruise. The infinity pool especially was the perfect spot for a selfie, although it did give a slightly dizzying view down as you essentially looked all the way down to Deck 8 and the ship's wake, which although was absolutely fabulous, was also a little bit nerve-wracking at times. Jumping up to the aft area of Deck 17, there is yet more sun deck space and also the kids clubs, although I didn't film those for obvious reasons. Moving midships, outside of the Skydome on either side are yet more large hot tubs, and stepping inside there's also the second level of the Skydome complex. There's a lot of comfy sofas in this area, so a perfect spot to sit and relax during the day, or a alternative vantage point to watch the shows on offer here in the evening. Moving further forward, there is Epicurean. This is a hugely popular extra charge venue on board Iona and is built on the idea of fine dining with inspiration from Britain as well as the other ports on the itinerary. Breakfast is served here for suite guests, and you can enjoy Eric Landlard's afternoon tea. I used some of my gifted onboard credit, and I'm really glad that I did this because it was quite a playful afternoon tea, featuring things that you'd never normally consider, such as pancetta and porcini eclairs, and even a red velvet pop cake, which I managed to completely destroy. Naturally, there's also a huge range of teas on offer, so if you're wanting to celebrate a special occasion with some fabulous views, this is a must visit. Dinner is hugely popular here as well, so if you're really wanting to book the Epicurean, I'd recommend that you do it quite early. Nearby there's also the Crow's Nest. This is a mainstay of P&O and offers gorgeous views over the front of the ship. By day it is a really relaxed space to read or have a catch up with friends, and feels really refined and sophisticated by night, especially on formal nights as you can sit here in all your finery. The Art Deco feel here also really builds on that in my opinion, and is one of my favourite bars on board. So if we move to Deck 18 and jump to the very back of the ship, we encounter another infinity pool known as the Panorama Pool. There's also a bar nearby and offered views of Iona's wake, so it was definitely another popular spot on board when the weather was nice. Directly above this is Iona's sports deck, which is situated on Deck 19, so if you're a sporty individual, definitely the spot for you. So as we walk along Deck 18, there's also a decently sized jogging track. Now Deck 18 is essentially split into two due to the top section of the Skydome, so you have to go back down to 17 and walk your way back up. However, the walk to the forward bit of Deck 18 is really worth it, as there's tons of deck space where you'll be able to sunbathe, as well as the beachcomber pool and bar. I think this is a quirkily designed pool, because you have that large amount of seating directly next to the pool. There's also two whirlpool spas. You can also walk up to a raised forward section, and the maritime geek in me absolutely loves this as well because you essentially have a portion of the ship's superstructure here, so I really enjoy this spot and I imagine it'd be a really nice view for sailings. At the very front of deck 18 there's the retreat, which is an extra charge space which offers 2 whirlpool spas. People relaxing here can enjoy a variety of chilled drinks and snacks, and you can even have alfresco spa treatments in one of the private cabanas as well. So if you're wanting to really unwind, this would be a fantastic spot. Now, as you can tell, there is a huge range of choices on board Iona, and it'll probably take you the duration of your cruise to find them all. She is a fantastically designed ship in my opinion, and although she is absolutely massive, you get ample opportunities to connect with the sea and feel like you're on a ship. Now, although that might sound odd, some of the ships that I've seen or been on are designed in such a way that there's very little exposure sometimes to the ocean, and you can forget that you're on a ship, which I think is a massive shame. P&O have definitely listened to feedback from their previous ships, as well as what people want to experience whilst on board, because you have that fabulous wraparound promenade deck, the infinity pools and whirlpools, the glass-walled atrium, which all gives you massive opportunities to look out and enjoy the beautiful vistas of the coastline as well as the sea. So this is a massive plus in my opinion. Iona definitely has a different feel compared to the other ships within the fleet, and I imagine Iona will attract a new generation of cruiser, which I am all for. And I hope for those of you who are booked to go on board her in the near future, this has given you a taste as to what you can expect, and I hope that you all have a fabulous time. So that was my ship tour on P&O Iona, and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please like and subscribe because it's always appreciated. If you have, do like and subscribe because I have a lot of other videos on Iona featuring a cabin tour, a hints and tips tour, a review, as well as a vlog series which I will post in the upcoming months. So I hope that you're all doing well at the moment, and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Until next time, this is Cruising with Matthew, and thank you so much for watching.